Hello, everybody. Welcome to the official 90s Babies podcast. I am one of your co hosts, Kevie the Dreamer, joined by my lovely co host. Say your name, Quay.
Clay Morgan Hill.
And today we are joined by somebody that we are so excited to have. We are joined by Freaknik Tina, as we will refer to her. Is that okay that we call you that, Tina? What do you go by? What is your preference?
My preference is to go by Tina. I do
Tina,
recognize
sure.
that. Yes, that is
Okay.
my preference.
Okay, yes, because as we were saying before, this is a safe space. This is a no judgment zone. We are just here to kick back, relax, and just have fun. In the words of Escape, take off your shoes and relax your feet. And
Absolutely.
we are just gonna party on down to the 90s beat and just talk about Freaknik a little
Yes,
bit.
yes.
We are here with somebody that actually went viral talking about the event. And if you're not familiar with the event Freaknik, can you tell us a little bit about it, Tina?
I'm sure. So I mean, I've said several times, I'm not like the Freaknik historian or anything like that.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it originally started like in the 80s, actually, like the later 80s, I believe it was around that time, where it started off as a picnic, because some of the HBCU students were not able to make it home for spring break. So it started off as a picnic where they would come to Atlanta, and they would just, they would be here for the spring break, and it just grew and grew and grew. And over the years, it just got bigger and bigger, and it just ended up being like one big, huge block party. And it was just like that every single year.
Okay.
I can only
Yeah.
imagine. I can only
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely something to be a part of. It really was. I mean, hey, that's why we kept coming back every year, because it was something. And I mean, I guess if you just talk about it a little bit, it's just like, well, what could be so good about it? I mean, literally, it's just being stuck in traffic with a whole bunch of people. And, but it really was an experience. It really was where every year you literally looked for the traffic jam. Like, you literally, during spring break, you went downtown and you looked for the traffic, which was generally going to be around Peachtree anyway. But I mean, because it was the thing to do. So you got stuck in traffic, you met people, you had a good time. All of the different music is playing. And like I said, it really was like just a huge block party, just a party in the street. That's really what it was like.
Is that how it
Okay.
started?
No, so that's what I'm saying. So it started off as just like a picnic. I mean, it was just, now I wasn't there when it started. I wasn't doing it when I wasn't going when it started. So from
Okay.
my understanding, yeah, it started off it was just a picnic. It was just like they would meet. I believe it was Piedmont Park. It may have been something else, but somewhere else. But they would just meet in the park, and they would just have a good time in the park. And then more and more people just started to come, and like I said, it just snowballed into this bigger thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I'm sorry, Quay, you go ahead.
I was just going to ask, so how did you really hear about it? Do you remember the first time you heard about Freaknik?
Oh wow. I think I mean, it was just obviously, I think it was just word of mouth. Like, I had some friends, and they were talking about, because now when it actually, what they were just talking about, how people were just gathering and coming together, and it was just like this big, huge gathering where people would just end up, end up being downtown, and it was just a lot of fun. You met a lot of different people and so on and so forth. So that's just kind of how I found out about it. I couldn't even remember what friend or what person told me about it. It was just like in conversation. And it was just like, yeah, let's go, and I was like, okay, well, let's go. So it was just kind of that thing, it was just like they have been before, they talked about it and they liked it, they had fun, and they were telling me about it. I was like, we should really go. We should go. It's going to be fun. And I was like, okay, well, let's hit it. Let's go.
Hmm.
And from
Yeah,
that point on,
it sounds innocent enough. It doesn't sound, like how you said how it started out. It sounds like something if it was, let's say it was coming about in today's world, and me and Quay being our age, if it was something that we were able to go to, that sounds like something that we would go to, just meet
Right.
new people, kick it.
Like
You
a
can't
networking event
necessarily,
almost.
yeah, you can't
yeah,
necessarily
because
go home. So it sounds, yeah, that it's
absolutely.
crazy. It's crazy that it's what's the word I'm looking for? That it's maybe spiraled into something different, and the, you know, the rep that it's gotten, because that
Yeah,
sounds, you know.
it really was. And I think like I saw something where and I can't remember her name, but the one of the young ladies who actually started it, she was saying how disappointing it was that it actually, like same thing you said, that it spiraled into something completely different, because it really was something meant to be a good time and a good event for people who couldn't make it home for spring break. You know, it was meant to be for college students. It was meant to be for that age group. And even as it grew and it got bigger and bigger, you know, they tried to have like, they ended up having like concerts. They ended up having like different events. You know, you had your vendors and all these things that were going
Mm.
on. I mean, literally, it brought so much money to the city of Atlanta. That's really how you know things had to be bad, because literally, I mean, millions. It brought so much money because there were so
Wow.
many people that would come from everywhere. And that was really one of the great things about it when it first started. It was just such a good way to, I mean, you met somebody that was from the East Coast, West Coast. I mean, it was just, you know, you were meeting people from all over. And people actually, I knew people, I'm not still cool with them now, but I knew people who were still friends and still cool with people that they met at Freaknik.
Hmm.
So it really was a great, just a great thing. It was a great interaction and a great fellowship that we were having. And I think the turn was where we started having more people that were not college students. We started having more people that were older. And it just instead of it being where it was more centralized with college students, and it just ended up becoming a free for all for whoever wanted to come. Because I mean, how could you manage it? You know what I'm saying? Yes, it was in the street. So how could you manage who could come and who couldn't come? You know?
Right,
So I
right.
think that really played a big part in the turn of it all, is that, you know, because there were, I mean, definitely older men out there. You know, there were people who didn't attend college. And that, I mean, that's fine if you weren't in college, but you know, you were just there to have a good time. But it just started to, it really started to take a turn, I think, with just the general assembly of anybody and everybody, you know, just coming down there just to do whatever, you know, they intended to do, which wasn't always a good thing.
Right. So, what year would you say it really took a turn for the worse?
Honestly, I think I told somebody this before in another, I was like, the 90's are kind of a blur. So trying to pinpoint like which year, but you know, it's like, was this 90? Because even like I said, when I did the video, I was literally trying to remember, was that 94? Was I there in 94? So I was really trying to put my years in.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, honest, if I think it will probably have been like around 96, maybe. I
Okay.
think that's where it took a turn. I remember, so they started where because they did try to manage it. Like they did put a curfew downtown. They did, you know, hire more police officers and try to, you know, wrangle people a little bit better. Um, but it just, you know, the effort just, it wasn't enough. But um so around 90, I think it was around 96 when they had already put the curfew downtown. So when they put the curfew downtown, of course, okay, well, we can't be downtown. We need to find somewhere else to go. So traffic, now this was just an experience that I remember. I cannot, I do believe it was 96 though, but this is one of the things that I remember happening. So because they had the curfew downtown, we had to find somewhere else to go, and we ended up at Greenbrier Mall. So that was like going to be the new place where everyone was going to meet up. It was going to be like you take that journey down, you know, you take that journey over to Greenbrier Mall. Well, we were at Greenbrier Mall. We were, you know, you're in the parking lot of the mall. It's huge, and you know, everybody's there, everybody's having a good time or whatever. You got people on top of the cars, you got, you know, just the whole what people do at Freaknik. Well, they decided that they were going to break into the mall.
Oh,
Mm.
So they broke into the mall. Yeah, yeah, they broke into the mall, And I mean, it was just it was a situation. I cannot. I want to say that I believe I remember that they like it's not funny, but I think they like broke into like some of the jewelry stores and stole
Oh
jewelry.
my
And I
goodness.
mean, but yeah, they definitely broke into the mall. So I think that was where the city was just like, okay, we tried, you know what I'm saying? We
Hmm.
tried to, because they wanted to keep that money coming, I'm sure. But
Hmm.
I think that was when they were just like, okay, that's it. You know, we're not going to be able to control this. We're not going to be able to manage this. We need to just, get everybody out of our city and just cut it out and be done with it. So I think that was like maybe around 96.
Now,
Mm.
were you a witness to any craziness like that? Were you still at that point attending, or were you like more where you were in college, like you had kind of moved on from the event at that point and maybe graduated?
Well, I was still going. So so actually I wasn't even at that point in time, I wasn't
Hmm.
attending college, but I was still
Okay.
going.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I want to say as well as far as me seeing anything, I definitely saw some crazy things. But like I was telling, so I did I saw some it was some crazy things. There was some crazy things going on, and it's definitely things that should not have been done out in public.
Mm.
But the thing about it was that I know that there were assaults and there were rapes and there were things that were happening. I know that that happened,
Mm.
but I was not witness to any of it. Like the things that I saw that were what I would consider to be inappropriate, like like I mean, it was crazy, like oral sex in public and all of that kind of stuff. There
Oh,
was
Wow.
nothing at the time. It didn't look like anyone was in a situation where they were not a consenting individual
Hmm.
from anything that I saw. So if I saw any type of if I saw a woman dancing and guys are gonna group around that, so if I saw a woman dancing and guys were grouping or whatever, I did not see any like aggressive behavior. So it wasn't something that I saw personally,
Hmm.
but I did know that it was occurring. So even with women, like you'll see like if a guy touched a woman inappropriately, the things that I saw, I would see a woman say, "Don't do that, don't touch me like that." They would go off on them or cuss them out or whatever, and the guy would just move on. They may have a little back and forth, but
Hmm.
the guy would move on. So just for me and my own personal experience, I did not see any aggressive well, I shouldn't say aggressive. I didn't see any rapes. I didn't see any rapes. I didn't see anything where it looked like a woman was in a situation that she did not want to be in.
mm.
Yeah, but I did see some crazy things. Yes.
Mm. Did you
Wow.
participate in any crazy things?
No, I didn't. I did not practice, and that's what I was saying in my video. So I didn't. Now again, the 90s is a blur. So it's like, you sit, and I'm telling you, so when I was sitting there, the thing that brought the video on, literally, I swear, I just thought that it would be funny. Because I was sitting there, I had just finished working, I just finished a client, and I was getting ready to go home, and they hadn't cooked. So I was like, okay, well, let me figure out what I'm going to eat. I'm sitting in my car. While I'm figuring out what I'm going to eat, I'm looking on the internet to try to see, what I'm thinking of, looking at menus. And I got a notification. I think it was on Instagram. And I got a notification. So I and I looked at the notification, kept scrolling. You know how once you start
Hmm.
scrolling, it's hard to stop. So I'm steady
Hmm.
scrolling, and I end up seeing this post where someone was saying that Hulu was gonna do a '94 Freaknik documentary. So I was like, I love movies. I love all kinds of movies, but I'm definitely a documentary fan.
Hmm.
So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, oh, this is gonna be good. I was like, they're gonna do a documentary on Freaknik, and I'm just, thinking I'm sitting there and I'm looking for my food and I thought about it and I was like, wait a minute, 94. Was I there in 94? So I'm literally sitting, I was like, I think I was there in 92. I think I was there in 90. So I'm literally going through it. And in my head, I started laughing at myself. I started laughing at myself because I was like, wait a minute. I said, yeah, I was there in 94. Okay, now was I doing anything? What was I doing in 94? So I just started laughing at myself and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a video about this because I'm sure other people are going to want to know. Other people are going to sit there and they're probably going to do the same thing that I'm doing. Like, oh, wait a minute. Am I going to be in this documentary? Is it possible? Like, what was I doing? Like, what was I, so that's literally, I did not think at all that it would do what it did. Like, I had no intention of that.
Mhm.
I was just trying to let my people know what was going on. And because I figured they're going to feel like I feel. So, I mean, but yeah, no, and like people were saying, I don't know why she did the video. She brought attention to herself. If she hadn't said anything, people wouldn't be looking for her. Now people are definitely going to be looking for her and all that kind of stuff. But what they weren't aware of was that I knew that 95%, there was a 95% chance that I wasn't doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like if I may have been out there twerking, you know what I'm saying? But as far as like being on top of a car or being surrounded by a group of guys or, I mean, whatever, and that's not, those things are horrible, but I'm just saying.
Right. Because like you said in your video, you said, I had all my clothes on.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, if I did, whatever I did, I know I was fully clothed. I know that much. So,
Okay. So you
like,
still had
I know that's
decorum.
right.
I still had some. So I was like, because my thing was like by that time, especially in '94, by that time they were pulling those video cameras out. You know what I'm saying? And you did, and you did start to hear those stories of like them being really aggressive and trying to undo girls' clothes and stuff like that. And so, like I said, I did not personally experience that, but I heard about it and I knew it to be true. I didn't think that it was anything that was made up. You know what I'm saying? So my thing was, okay, first of all, it's not my interest to be caught on anybody's videotape. Not at all, because of course it's VHS back then. But my thing was, who would have thought that VHS wouldn't still be, what I'm saying?
Right.
So we would have moved on to DVDs and you know what I'm saying? And now streaming and all, you don't know what technology is gonna move on to. So I never wanted a tape of me doing anything in somebody's living room. That just creeped me out. That creeps me out. I was like, for somebody to be able to pop a video in and just look at me and see me, and I don't know. No, it creeped me out. So I was just like, no, When the video cameras came out, I was gone. So, but who knows though? You know what I'm saying? Because if you have multiple people that are videoing, you know what I'm saying? Well, you may see two or three. Yeah, you don't know. You may see 2 or 3 people in front of you and be like, oh no, okay, there are the cameras. Let me go over here. But you may have already been dancing or doing something and the cameras were behind you that you didn't see. So you just never know. Right. So that was my thing. My thing was like, okay, I don't know. Maybe y'all will see me, twerking. Maybe y'all will see me shaking or doing, whatever. But one thing I do know is I'm fully clothed. At least I can hold on to that. I can hold on to that.
That's good. That's good. Did you see any celebrities?
Not personally, no. Personally, I didn't. Most of it, like I mentioned before, if I saw celebrities, I saw them at the club. So that was the other thing that was just, and that's why I said, like, in regards to the whole thing, I really hope that they talk about Atlanta in the 90s. And I've said this several times. I know I sound like a broken record, but I really do hope they talk about Atlanta in the 90s, because when I tell you, it was just a good time. And that doesn't mean that we didn't have shootings, we didn't have, crime. And of course we had it, but we just had a good, it's not like today. And we really did have a good time. And Atlanta was open. We did not have a curfew. We didn't have a curfew until we did. So the thing about it was that I mentioned, we had so many different clubs. We had Club 112, we had the Warehouse, we had just Sharon Showcase Sensations, Club Kai. We had 559. We just had a bunch of clubs in. So it was a whole nightlife that went on. So it was like, even though, yes, we were in the streets at Freaknik, it was like we be in the streets at Freaknik. And now you have to think about it though. We were at Freaknik from sun up to not sun up, but we were at Freaknik from the daytime to the nighttime. So so we have been out there and all day long, right? So by the time we finish, at nighttime, it's like, okay, where are we going now? So you go home, you change your clothes, you get dressed, and you take a shower, and you go to the club. So now we're a part of everybody who's here for Freaknik. Now everybody's in the club. So we're having a good time in the club. I mean, we dance. You know, we not like we went like
Listen,
yeah,
Y'all
we
was
not like
popping and
yeah. Today, y'all cute. You know, y'all real cute and y'all look good and stuff. And y'all be out there, holding it down. I get it, but yeah, we was out there sweating. We was, our clothes
y'all
would be
was in
dripping.
it for real.
Yeah, our clothes would be dripping with sweat by the time we got done. So we were actually that's what I'm saying. Atlanta in the 90's, because we didn't have those curfews at first, and the club stayed open so late. We were able to keep the party going, and we kept it going. And when I tell you, we would be at Freaknik all day into the night. Like I said, come home, take our showers, change our clothes, go back out to the club, be in the club all night, and start all over the next day. And this is how it was all Freaknik weekend. This is how it was. That now we can bet that whole spring break. That's how it was.
that sounds
So yeah.
And the
That's
music
why
that y'all had back then, listen, me and Quay, that's why we call this the official 90's babies, because we wish that we were a part of that. We wish that we were old enough to, man,
right.
the music that y'all had back then compared to today, I know y'all was getting it. I'd have been getting it too.
Yeah. Shoot, Uncle Luke,
I'm
too short.
telling you. Girl, I'm telling you, I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And then you see how excited I get. That was just it was our soundtrack. It was just, listen, just like you said, we had Luke, Too Short. I mean, we had of course So Def. So we had Jermaine Dupri, we had the Brat, we had Escape, Jodeci.
Yes.
What I mean, just Bad Boy. We had Dre, Snoop and the Dog Pound, Bone Thugs. I mean, we just had. I mean, and then not to mention like stuff that was just specific to Atlanta. So we had other than Jermaine Dupri and So Def, we had TLC. We had other groups that were coming out of Atlanta. Of course, Outkast, Goody Mob. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was Monica. Yes, we just had a plethora of music. And I mean, don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. But listen. R. Kelly's 12 Play album came out. Listen, I'm just saying, it was just, that 12 Play was something serious. And I mean, so it was just, the music was just amazing. Our soundtrack was amazing. You just
That's all I listen to today is 90s. So I'm with you.
That's what I was about to say.
I'm with you, girl.
To this day, 90s music, 90s R&B, 90s hip hop, you just can't beat it.
Yeah, nothing touches it. Oh, I'm so jealous of you. Listen. I know Tina was getting it back then.
Listen, honey, I'm telling you now, I'm not gonna lie, like you may have seen me on the stage at Club Excess once or twice. I'm just saying, because I'm telling you, I was getting it in. I was getting it in when I was there.
Get it, girl. I love it.
Yeah, I was not one to stand there and be cute. I was sweating, and that's why I used to tell people. I was like, that's how we stayed little, because we would be on the floor all night long.
Wow.
And I mean, it was a good time. It really was. And we would come, like, even when you went, like I said, you would go to 112 closed at like maybe 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. So you would go into 112.
That's unheard of today. Wow.
Yes. Yes. You would go in the club at night, and you would be coming out in the morning like this. And you just walk right across the street to Waffle House, get your breakfast, and then either go home or go to work. Go home, take your shower, go to work. Yes, I'm telling you, because it was we had a good time, and we had so much fun. Like even today, like some people, like I know, they'd be like, oh, girl, I can't even think about going to the club through the week. It's like I gotta wait till the weekend because I'd have to get it. No, we'd be having so much fun. It was just like you didn't care. I'll deal with being tired in the morning. I'll deal with being,
Mm.
dragging into work or whatever. I'll deal with it because you just can't miss the party. You can't miss it.
Yeah. But that's how
Yeah,
you
we had a
know it
good
had to be
time.
teenagers, because or in adolescence, because after 30 you need a nap. Like you're not gonna be
You
able to
do.
go that damn long. Did you meet anybody though?
And
Did you
definitely we
meet
would
like a baby daddy or a boyfriend at Freaknik?
listen. So you are the first person to ask me this. You are the first person to ask me this. So I'm about to give y'all the tea.
Ooh,
Okay, y'all the first
Oh,
people to get the tea. Here's the tea. I was I was with my husband at the time. So a lot of times we were like look, I gotta think about when did we get married? Yeah, we were already married. So a lot of the times when we were like when I was hanging out with my husband. So yeah, we were together most of the time.
well,
So
that's
that's the tea. Nobody has asked me about what my relationship status was during Freaknik. So I just didn't say anything. Nobody asked me about it, so I never mentioned it. But yeah, I was with my husband. So and we did not meet. We met in high school, so we were already together before Freaknik. Like
mm.
we went to college together and we went to college together and everything. So we were already together before Freaknik came about. So yeah.
Well,
So
you
no,
played
I didn't meet
safe then.
anybody. I was already in a relationship.
Yeah, you were safe. You were safe then. You played it real safe.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what that, and that's another reason why, like even so like even with the whole Freaknik Tina thing, and I was talking to him, I was talking to him at the time, and I was like, this just drives me crazy. They keep calling. I don't, because I'm a business owner, and I'm just like, I don't want to, just be portrayed, in a certain light. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I really don't. And he was like, Tina, he was like, it's no big deal. He was like, the truth of the matter is that anybody who knows you knows that, you weren't in these streets like that. So what difference does it make? If they know you as Freaknik Tina, so what? Your video went viral. If that's how they know you, that's how they know you. He was like, it's no big deal. He was like, the truth of the matter is, I was with you most of the Freakniks that you went to, we went to together. So what difference does it make? And I was like, well, that's right, that's true. So I was like, well, you know what? If my family is okay with it, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah. And
but
that's
I
it.
understand where you're coming from as well, because and just to piggyback off of the video that you went viral for, when you said I had to laugh because you said Jesus be a tall privacy
Yeah,
fence. But
yeah,
what I think about is um you guys had the opportunity to grow up in the 90s, and like having the hindsight is always 2020. You don't know what you're a part of today, what it's going to become. So
no,
having that experience, you're now a grown woman, you are
yeah,
a businesswoman, you're not in the same space that you were back then. So
right,
it's a different, I completely understand what you're saying. You don't want to
Yeah.
be thought of or looked at in a certain light because you're not
yeah,
necessarily that person anymore. It was just a part of who you are. But I like that your husband is supporting you and is letting you know that that's if somebody does view you that way, they don't know you. You know what I
yeah,
mean? They don't know who
yeah,
you really are because like you said, you haven't done anything wrong. You were having a good time. What's wrong with
right,
that? You were being safe, I'm sure, as you said, so
yeah,
it's not like you were out here bumping and grinding on cars and just
right,
wilding
yeah,
out. So
I mean, and if you
I
did,
get
I
it.
yeah,
feel like even if you did do that in the past, hypothetically speaking, that's just who you. I mean, what young person didn't do
And
something
that's okay
crazy when
too.
they were?
and
Yeah. Mhm.
that was the next thing that I was about to say. I totally agree. That's exactly what I was about to say. And if I was so, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
Right.
saying?
like
It's like
Right.
you're young, you're having a good time, and I'm not going. I'm not gonna lie. To this day, I might do it. You might, I might break it down a little bit. I like to have a good time. I like to enjoy life. I love to dance. I love good music. So I mean, if who I just, I'm just like even with my generation, Generation X and the opinions that my generation has in regards to millennials and Gen X and so on and so forth. You know, every previous generation always has some grievance with the newer generation. You know what I'm saying? It's always some type of comparison in the sense of, well, yeah, but in my day, yeah, but in my day. And my thing is just always in that whole regard, it's just listen, we've all been young. You know what I'm saying? Who am I to tell somebody how to enjoy their life? You know what I'm saying? Who am I to tell somebody how to have fun? What's fun, whatever is fun to them, it's fun to them. You know what I'm saying? So I may see somebody dancing on top of a car and be like, ooh, that's a lot. You know, she doing a lot. But why? Well, I mean, why
Right.
even think that? If she, if it's her car, you know what I'm saying? If she's not
Mhm.
damaging somebody else's car and she's having a good time, what? Okay, let her live. You know what I'm saying? Let
Exactly.
her live. Let her have a good time. If same thing, we always talk about the women. We always talk about what the women were doing and so on and so forth. But even with the men, I mean, as long as they weren't doing anything like we talked about, the like being assaulting anyone or anything like that, because that's what the other part of the conversation was like, while people are talking about what they're going to see in the documentary in regards to what women are doing, some of these men need to be concerned, because you may see some,
Yes.
yeah, you may see some of these
Mhm.
men, being overly aggressive with women and, doing inappropriate things and so on and so forth. And that is very true. But at the same time, you may just see, some guys having a good time, and where you may look at them and be like, oh, well, now they shouldn't have stood around that girl like that, or they shouldn't have stood around that woman like that. They should have just walked away, or they should have. Well, I mean, again, I'm not saying that that's okay. All I'm saying is just that when you're in a particular environment and everybody is having a good time or having fun, let people live. Let them have fun as long as nobody is hurting anyone, as long as no one is offending anyone, and everybody is actually having a good time. Who are we to judge as to how they need to have that good time?
Right.
I mean, I don't. Hopefully, I wasn't offensive with my, but I
No.
just,
Mm-mm.
yeah,
Yeah, basically, if it doesn't affect you, mind your business. Don't worry about
Yeah.
someone else. Moral
Woo!
of the
If people live
story.
by that
pretty
today,
much,
the world will be a better
Yes. So,
you
Miss
know what I'm
Tina,
saying?
how do you feel about the Freaknik documentary as a whole? Do you
I'm excited about it. I am,
mm,
and like I said, now I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that. Like I really love documentaries. So, I'm that's probably why I'm most excited is because I feel like it's going to be a good documentary. I feel like it's going to be interesting. Um, what I'm hoping though is that if they do have any negative things in regards to like women being assaulted or anything like that, I'm just hoping that like faces are blurred out, that they would at least do that to try to preserve,
mhm.
anyone like we talked about, who may have been out there doing some things or got caught doing some things that they wouldn't be proud of today, or even if they just don't want that to be seen by other people. However, it went down. I would just hope that they blurred faces, but other than that, I think I'm very interested to see it because I really want to see. Like, I know that Jermaine Dupri is a part of it.
Hmm.
Um, and what I've always recognized about him is that he loves Atlanta. He loves Atlanta. So I just cannot imagine him even I if they're going to be true to Freaknik, they would have to talk about they're going to talk about the downfall. They said that. So if they're talking about the downfall is going to include the rapes and the assaults and things that were in the news and all of that. But I would hope that he still doesn't in his honesty, I would hope that he doesn't paint Atlanta in a bad light and that he talks, like I said, talks about how Atlanta was in the 90's. And if and so that's what I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see how how they just put it all together. And if they're gonna make it to where is complimentary, or if they're to some degree, or if they're just going to make it to where it's just like, okay, this is how it started, this is what it was, and this is how it ended, and ended on this horrible, you know note of the assaults and everything. So I'm really interested to see how they put this together.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Well, before
Yeah.
we wrap things up, I do have one last question for you. Do you
Hmm.
think Freaknik could come back in today's society?
That was my question.
Yeah, okay. So I have been asked this question, right? And initially, and I still have the feeling of this. Initially, my thought was yes, because a long story. I mean, long story short. Basically, what I was saying is that y'all generation is not gonna deal with. Y'all not gonna put up with what we put up with, right? Y'all not gonna put up with no disrespect. Y'all not tolerating no disrespect. Y'all not tolerating no you anybody these days. Everybody knows that you can be recorded at any given time without your knowledge.
Mhm.
That's what you all know about this day and age, right? So I think with what you know about how society is now, I think what you know about even with the conversations that have been had in regards to consent and what's okay, what's not okay, and all of that, those things, I think that you guys could put together a festival like that. Now, I was talking with someone else and they were saying that if it couldn't be like it was, they don't want it. And this was someone of your generation. They were like, if it can't be like 94, we don't want it. And we don't think that we could have it that way because it's too much gun violence. People don't know how to act. And, again, this was someone of you guys' age. And so when I was listening to them, I could understand where they were coming from. So my thing was, well, it's never gonna be another Freaknik. Never. It will never be like it was in the 90's. It won't. It will never be like we can't get that back, right? So my thing was you guys could just take it and spin it. You guys could take it and make it your own and do your own thing with it and make it safe, you know, learn from our mistakes. That's what my initial thought process was. But her thing was if it can't be like it was in 94, we don't want it. So I'm gonna ask y'all, how do y'all feel about that? Do you guys agree with her that if we can bring Freaknik back, I mean not me, because I keep saying my old butt ain't gonna be out there. But if y'all could bring Freaknik back, would y'all want to do it? Or are you like her and be like, well, yeah, no, if it can't be like it was then, we don't want it. Don't even do it.
Hmm. I think I'm pretty torn between that because that is very true. Like, if it's not going to be like 94, then what's the point? And then we would have to change the name. Like, it's no longer
Yeah,
free. Like, we will have
I
to do
think so
something
too.
completely different. And then
Yeah.
I feel like if we were trying to keep it on like the 94 level, it would have to
Hmm.
be like underground. It
Hmm.
couldn't be mainstream because we got too many, groups, movements, and stuff out here that would try to
Yeah.
rally against something like that. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good one. I'm torn
I
between.
know. Right?
I would go. I definitely
Yeah.
would go, but I
Uh-huh.
don't think it would ever come back. And I don't think it would ever
Yeah.
be the same either.
No, no. And they even I think it was Texas. Did y'all see that here recently? That Texas tried to do some Freaknik event and
Mm-mm.
I think it was Texas. I just saw it on I think it was just what's this Sunday? I think it was just last week. I think it was in Texas, I believe, that they just tried to do some type of like Freaknik festival or Freaknik event or something like that. And some people got shot out there. So some people, yeah, so people were bringing that up online. They were bringing that up saying, see, y'all need to just let this go. We can't have nothing and so on and so forth. So I don't know. I think that maybe if it's done where like organizers do it. So like if it's just a party promotion type thing where it's just, you know what I'm saying, where it's just like a couple of people get together and they got the money for it and they're like, we're gonna promote this and put this together and we're just gonna have a Freaknik type event. I think that's where things can go sideways because you don't have that backing to be able to have security and all of the things that you need to have. But I think if it's so just as an example, just throwing this out there. So say after this documentary, Jermaine Dupri and Luke get together and they say, okay, this was the setup for this. So now we're going to start having Freaknik festivals, right? And in the festivals, we're gonna have uh the lineup of different artists. We're gonna do it at Piedmont or whatever, and we're gonna block off a certain section, and it's gonna be like a big block party, whatever. But they at that point, that's a different situation because now you're gonna have you're gonna have enough money for enough security. You're gonna have enough money to actually have it organized and set up in a way where um it's just it's centralized and it's contained. But I think when party promoters try to put stuff together to bring it back, I think that's where it kind of takes a negative turn because they don't have everything that they need to be able to just keep it safe.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. So I don't know. I can see it the way that I just explained it, like if it's a big backing and made into a big festival. But like if it's just party promoters trying to do it, I just think it just is more on a smaller scale of just people throwing parties and calling it Freaknik. And now now you're put in situations where it could turn out like it did in Texas. I believe it was Texas. I'd have to look at it, but yeah.
Yeah, that makes
I'm
sense.
like you. I could see it being something like a Freaknik festival, and you have artists from that era,
Like that would
Uncle
be more
Luke.
like a spring bling type.
Right. Like maybe I think that's the extent that it could go. I think in today's world and society, like you said, if it did happen in Texas or wherever it happened and people are just acting a fool and guns are coming out, it's just too, unfortunately we can never go back to the way things were back in the day when things were cool,
Right.
like in the 90s and it was just a different time. And it's just, I just don't think that it can be done safely, not on that level.
Yeah, and when she talked about that, I understood that because like even in and somebody asked me online, they asked me in the comments, they were like, did you guys have gun violence back then, like we do today? And we had gun violence. We would be out at the club and people would somebody would be out in the parking lot and now somebody's shooting out in the parking lot, or somebody's fighting out in the parking lot, or even somebody got to fighting in the club or whatever. We had those types of situations that happen, of course. But I think then we were more focused on having a good time. You know what I'm saying? Because like we would like literally, if someone got to shooting or if someone got to fighting, everybody would just be so upset and be like, man, whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, don't ruin the party. You know what I'm saying? Don't mess it up for the rest of us. You know what I'm saying? Let us have a good time. So I think that was kind of the difference, was just that we really wanted to have fun, and it wasn't just about coming into the club and flexing, getting your section, getting your bottles, and and just standing around and like I said, flexing or just, it wasn't about that for us. We literally engaged with one another. We literally got out on the dance floor, danced, had a good time. It was just a different experience. You know what I'm saying? I think when you go into the club and you just standing around and you just looking at people, and I think that that alone just, now it becomes, what you looking at, what you staring at, you know what I'm saying? Why you guys, what's going on, why you bringing it over here, why, I just think, but you if you dancing and having a good time, I'm not paying attention to what's going on. I ain't looking, you know what I'm saying? So I think the energy was just so it happened, but I just think our energy was just on something else.
Oh yeah.
Different energy, different mindset, different culture.
Yeah.
Just a different world back then.
Nowadays, a fight can break out in one section of the club, and then another fight's gonna break out, and it's just all due to that energy that was brought in. And sometimes it's like, oh, that's not even worth it, like you never know.
And that makes me so sad for y'all. I hate that. I really do. I hate that. And it was I can't think of her name right now because I know we're trying to wrap it up and I'm in my head. But the last podcast that I did, she was saying the same thing. She was just like, it's not, why even go, or why even, and I was just like, man. And she said everything is hookah. That's what she said. She said everything is hookah. Hookah at brunch, hookah at, and she was just like, this is not fun. She was like, it's just not fun. And I just hate that for you guys because it's just, it doesn't sound like fun. It just,
it's not.
It doesn't even.
Nope. And you got to pick and choose which major event you want to go to because all of them ain't safe.
Yeah. 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 I really do. I hate that for y'all because it just, that's just no way to live life. Y'all should be able to enjoy your life, have fun. And I'm not saying people don't, but I mean, going to the club is not the
You
end
just
all
have to
be
be
all.
so safe. Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
be so aware of everything and everybody that's around you. You can't live like that anymore. You almost
Yeah.
can't be carefree because there's just so much mental illness and stuff going on today, and so much
There is.
evil energy and evil spirits and demonic, the devil, just a lot of just darkness. And it's like,
I agree. I
it makes
agree.
me not even want to go out. Like the girl that you were referring to, if we can't go out and be like in 94, I'm just going to stay in my home. At least I'm
Yeah.
nice and peaceful here. That's how
Right.
I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah, but and even the thing with that, it was her name is Amani. That's what it is. It came to me. Her name is Amani. But even with that, and I totally get it. I really do. We deal with so much anxiety now, and especially
Yes.
and especially amongst your age group, it's disheartening. It really is for you guys to be so young and have so much anxiety. Like you said, I'd rather be in my home. I don't even want to take the chance on going out of
Mm-mm.
my door and just being, dealing with anything that could pop off, right? And that's so, but the other part about that is just that nowadays you can be in your home. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
You can
Yep.
be
So
anywhere.
it's not even, and I'm not, yeah. So it's not to, I didn't say that to cause any type of panic or anything, but just
Right.
that
But it's reality.
it's
Mhm.
reality. So
Mhm.
we have to live, right? We
Yeah.
can't, we have to live. We
Yeah,
have to
you
figure
can't
out
live
a
in
way.
fear. Absolutely.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly my point. So it's just like
Mhm.
you said, you recognize, and I definitely believe in, and I believe in those demonic spirits, and so we have to be able to discern that. We
Mhm.
have to pay attention. We have to have that spirit of discernment where we're able to know, okay, this doesn't feel right, or that person doesn't. I'm not feeling this person right here. So you know what? I'm not going to hang out with this person, or I'm not going to go with this person tonight, or I'm not going to go to this venue tonight because I'm not feeling right about it. Something that, you know what I'm saying? We have to pay attention to those things, but we shouldn't let the fact that we have to do that stop us from being
Right.
able to enjoy life. And like I said, the club is not the only place to have fun. That's not the end all to be all. There are so many other things that we can do, or you guys can do as younger
Mhm.
people. There's so many things that you guys can do that where you can have a good time. So it's not just about the club. But and I don't want nobody to think that's what I'm saying. But yeah, we just
We
have to
feel you.
yeah, we just
Mhm.
have to use that spirit of that, use that discernment, and and not let it keep us from being able to enjoy our lives. Yeah.
True. I know that's right. Drop the mic on that one. Boom.
Yes, Queen Tina, we thank you so much. I didn't have a chance to tell you this yet, but you are so beautiful. I love your glasses. Your
Oh my God,
skin
thank
is just
you.
glistening. Yes. So
Right.
Thank you.
we
Oh,
Ain't
well,
we
no
have
race out
really
there.
you mentioned my skin. I got to tell you about my skin. I'm an esthetician. So y'all need to
okay.
come and see. Yes, y'all need to come and see me. I'm in the Atlanta metro area. My
Okay.
spa is Lash, Wax, and Glow. So y'all need to come and
Okay.
see me. Yeah,
That
so
was
I can
my
help you
We
with your
have
that
to
was
hair.
make
how
the
I was
trip. We're all
gonna.
the way in Ohio. So
Yes. Well,
Well,
that's
you
that's about
guys,
8 hours.
it's about 8 hours, but
Yeah.
I'm originally from Michigan. I'm originally from Detroit, so y'all
Oh,
my
okay.
neighbors.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep, we're
okay.
from
yeah.
Columbus.
But whenever y'all in Atlanta, y'all need to come and see me then.
Yes, we
Yes,
absolutely will.
definitely.
That's what I was going to say was we want you to promote your business, let us know what you're doing, and let us know your social media or how we can follow you, your website, whatever you have going on that we can support.
Thank you so much. So
Hmm.
yes, my spa is Lash Wax and Glow. It's in the Atlanta metro area. It's in Snellville.
Okay.
And my Instagram is Lash Wax and Glow.
Okay.
And it's the same thing for Facebook, same thing for TikTok as well. I'm
Okay.
on Twitter and I'm on Twitter, so it's all Lash Wax and Glow.
All right. We
Right.
got you with the follow.
Thank you so much. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you for
I
joining
appreciate
us. Thank you
it.
for being here today. Everybody out there listening, I am Kevie the Dreamer. I am joined by Quay Morgan Hill and Queen Tina. We are so grateful that you guys have been here listening with us. We have really enjoyed your company, Tina. And until next time, take care and God bless.
Thank
Love
you so
you.
much. Thank you.
Mwah.
Thank
Thank you.
you. This was awesome. Thank you so much.